everyone, I've got a little video today to show you a bit of an update on my craft room. I bought some new ink pad storage, so I thought I would do a video to show you not only the new storage but how I've labelled up all my ink pads and the way I've kind of put it all together. I must apologise, the first part of this video where I'm showing you the area before I put the storage in, I filmed without thinking to put my phone on landscape. So the first part of the video where I'm showing you the room as it was isn't great quality because it's obviously filmed on portrait instead of landscape. But as it was the before, and I then went in and put all the ink pad storage in, I couldn't refilm it because I'd already changed that area. So I'm afraid you'll just have to bear with the first part of the video, but it's only the first few minutes, and then it's all filmed in much better quality. Because I'm about to start on a bit of a project and I thought I would take you through it from the beginning. However, my supplies have just arrived and my room is a mess. But before I start unpacking them, I wanted to video the space as it is so you can see kind of my thinking. I did do a little video recently as part of the Paper Crafters Get Organised Summit, and I'd mentioned about one corner of my room that I wanted to organise. Now, those of you that have been following me for a while, the last time I did a craft room update, I just had these IKEA little they're like picture rails on this wall, and it was my intention to replicate it on the other wall because this is going to be my distress section here. Now I've done 4, and on the other side I've got 2 of these shorter ones at the top. Let me show you. I hope I'm not making you dizzy with this video. So at the top there I've got 2 shorter ones, and then underneath this one I've got my marker storage. Now I kind of wanted to mirror that, so on this side I've got the same 4 long shelves here. These aren't actually quite as long as the other side because I've got my units here, but this is going to give me enough space for all the distress. I've got a whole empty shelf at the bottom, and as you can see I don't actually have that many sprays, so I've got lots of gaps. I'm trying to put them in order so I can see what kind of gaps I've got and what I need to buy. But I haven't put the second shelf here. I have got one, but this area here is going to be ink pad storage. So whereas underneath those on that side I've got markers, those markers are all in Crafters Companion plastic storage. So I've bought some of the Crafters Companion. Let me show you, I've got the whole pile here ready to unpack. I've got 12 packs there of the Crafters Companion ink pad storage. At the moment my ink pads, I'll show you, are in this metal cabinet here, but I've kind of outgrown this really, and the thing that's driving me mad is my oxides, because they are stacked in here because I've got all the oxides. I haven't actually even got all of the distress, but my distress is stacked 3 deep in here, and it's a nightmare to try and find the colours I want. And now I've got my little distress corner going on over there with all of the sprays, etc. I kind of want these ink pads all over there, so I've got it all to hand. So my thinking is, if I can put all of my distress, all of my Lisa Horton, and all of my Catherine Pooler, and that's also Lisa Horton, and I've got Catherine Pooler here at the moment because I literally had nowhere to put them. So I'm thinking if I can transform this corner here, stack up, I can lose all of these things at the back here and stack up all the ink pad storage, and then depending on how high that goes I'll decide whether to put in another short shelf under that one so it matches the other side where I've got 2. But I thought I won't fix that one in yet in case I need that height. So what I'm going to do is unpack all those ink pad storage things now and work out the spacing. So then I will continue this video tomorrow. Once I've got those unpacked and I work it all out, I'll hopefully do you a video with the next stage. So I've got 12 boxes here and I've popped them all up in my room and they fit beautifully. I could probably get one more or maybe two more sort of layers on the top. So I've got them going 3 across, which means I've got 9 per row. Now, by happy coincidence, this actually ties in beautifully with the distress pins I've got. You can just see them in the corner there. I've got them in a frame going 9 across on each row, which is complete coincidence, but it means that when I'm looking for the inks or what order to put them back in the trays in, I can kind of use that as a little swatch next to me. So I've got all the oxides in this photo. The distress will fit underneath, then my Lisa Horton, and I'll still have another couple of rows. I don't think I'm going to put my Catherine Pooler in here though, because they're white. I don't think they'll look quite as neat, so I'm going to think of something else for them. I can probably put them in the drawers that I've taken the oxides out of, so that's all going to work quite well. Now I want to talk you through how I've done my labelling and how I'm going to colour these, because I wanted to have really neat looking labels. Obviously these are very much on display, so I printed off, I've got some permanent adhesive sheets from Nice Crafting. I'll put a link in the description box for all these things. And I've printed off all the names on these labels in a nice kind of courier font. I wanted them to look quite sort of classic. And then I was rummaging through, I've gone through so many of my die sets to find a die that was the right size to do these labels. I didn't want to cut them with my trimmer because they're never going to be exactly the same if I do that. And because these are all going to be literally on display right in front of you when you walk in my room, I absolutely had to have these labels all looking perfect. So I found a Carnation die set of rectangles, and the second from smallest is the absolute perfect size. It's like it's made to measure for these. And so this is gonna it's gonna be a little bit of a process because I've obviously got to die cut all of these, which I guess is a little bit longer than trimming them, but they're going to be perfect by doing it this way. Now I want my labels to all be coloured, but I didn't want to colour the labels then stick them on because that's a bit messy. And I saw on Tim Holtz's Instagram way back, someone had given him this idea, and it's a really clever way of doing it because you can make sure you've got a really nice smooth colour on your label when your label is already in place. So what I'm doing is smooshing the colour onto a gel plate, and then I'm just dipping the label into it until I've got a nice smooth cover. You will get ink obviously on the plastic around the label, so what you need to do is set them aside just for a few minutes. So I'm kind of doing them in little batches, and obviously with depending on how big a gel plate you've got, you can do quite a few in each sort of little run. So I can probably do about 6 to 8 at a time on this gel plate because I've got enough space to do little bits of ink on each. So it's a great way of doing it. And I'm kind of sticking the labels on, say 6 to 8 of the ink pads, then doing the ink on them and then leaving those to one side while I die cut and put the next lot of labels on, and it's kind of working out quite a good little production line, and this is giving me a lovely finish on them. So I'm going to go through all the oxides, then I'm going to do all the distress in exactly the same way, and that way the label on each is going to show the exact colour. There's obviously, even between the distress oxides and the distress, the colour does look differently because the oxides are sort of more chalky finish and a bit more opaque. So it means when I look at my ink pads, I can see exactly what colour I'm going to be getting. And this is how I just clean them off once I've left them to sit for a few minutes. I've just got a microfiber grubby cloth and I'm just going to give a quick wipe over, get the ink, excess ink off the plastic, and then they can go in my new storage unit. And here's all the Oxide and Distress finished. I've got a couple of gaps in the Oxide. Now I do have all the Oxide ink, so I think those couple that I'm missing must just be in my bag in the car. The Distress, I do have quite a lot of gaps, and you can see I've just put the labels in the little slot so that when I buy the ink pad, they're good to go. And then at the bottom I've put all my Lisa Horton. But I'm really pleased with how it looks. I think the colours look lovely. And then as you can see, I can glance across at my pinboard and the colours match perfectly. So I can kind of at a glance see what's in on each row. So that works really well. I'm really pleased with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll put details in the description box below for both the dies, the ink pad storage, oh, and of course the labels. So if you want to have a go at doing this yourself, you'll be able to find all the things you need there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.